Khamzat Chimaev and Paulo Costa, the number 3 welterweight in the world and the number 6 middleweight in the world, got into a little bit of an altercation after Paulo Costa calling Khamzat Chimaev not a real gangster. They're in the UFC PI. Paulo Costa confronts him. Khamzat Chimaev, well, we'll just have to see in the video. Let's watch it here on this YouTube channel. Let's see if I can turn the sound on really quick. 1, 2, 3. Alright. So we got Paulo Costa right here walking in to the UFC PI, and he's looking for Khamzat Chimaev. He's like trying to find where Khamzat Chimaev is, and he's in the background over there. So let's see what Paulo Costa is going to go and say.
And I will show for you guys the whole video. Take a look.
That's Jake Shields and Nate Diaz. No, that's not Nate Diaz, but Jake Shields and Paulo Costa. Look at him. I don't know what any of this is saying. This guy showed up to help Chimaev. So that was it. I really have zero idea what either guy is saying, but Paulo comes up there looking for the smoke with Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev talking back to him. All of Khamzat's friends, his training partners saying, no, you got to fight tomorrow. You got UFC 279. Sorry, not tomorrow, on Saturday, but we can't be getting you into a fight. They might cancel your big money fight, Nate Diaz, brother. You don't want to get that taken away from you, but I don't know. It was a funny little scene that was there. But what do y'all think about Paulo Costa and Khamzat Chimaev little interaction? Do you think we might see a Chimaev-Paulo Costa fight in 2023 after the Khamzat-Nate Diaz fight? Winner fights Adesanya in 2023. Maybe if he beats Alex Pereira. There's some craziness happening in this middleweight division. We'll put your thoughts down below. Darren Till and Dricus Du Plessis, correct me if I'm saying that one incorrect, down below in the comment section. But this fight is in the works for UFC 282. We have in the middleweight division the number 9 fighter coming off a loss both to Derek Brunson as well as Robert the Reaper Whittaker. And now he is most likely going to be fighting the number 13 Dricus Du Plessis inside of the UFC. These are some deadly strikers in the middleweight division. Finally, he won't be having to go out there and worry about the wrestling and grappling. But wait, Dricus Du Plessis is actually a pretty good wrestler and grappler as well, so it's going to be a very interesting fight. UFC 282, Darren Till and Dricus Du Plessis, 28 years old for Dricus, and 29, almost 30 years old for Darren Till. Winner will be in a very good spot in the middleweight division. My early prediction is going to be Dricus Du Plessis to win the fight on the judges' scorecards, but it should be close. The grappling and wrestling, if the striking is not working for Dricus, I do believe he will be able to take the fight down a few times in this fight. But who do y'all think wins this one in the middleweight division? Paddy the Body says no ranked opponents in the UFC lightweight division for at least another year. If you look at his new video, his new podcast with some guys, I'm not going to remember the name of the podcast, but he was saying for the next year and a half, 2 years or so, something like that, he says it's not worth it. He's only 27 years old, so he's not going to accept anyone inside of the top 15 of the UFC, even though guys like Arman Tsarukyan have been calling out Paddy the Baddy. He says he will not accept. He will keep on climbing up the rankings of the UFC's lightweight division and not face any of those dangerous top 15 opponents. Personally, I think it's smart. He's only 3 wins into the UFC. And I mean, his last win was Jordan Levitt. Claudio Puelles beat Jordan Levitt. He's about to fight inside the top 15. So, I mean, you could make an argument for why Paddy the Baddy should be a top 15 fighter, and he could fight inside of the top 15 and be competitive. But I think it's smart by Paddy. He is only 27 years old. He's going to take his time between each fight, gain some more money, get some more finishes, build the notoriety up, and then eventually go inside the top 15 once there is a favorable match. I'm talking like a Dan Hooker. I'm talking maybe a Rafael Dos Anjos type of guy, maybe a Conor McGregor money fight, something crazy like that to get him inside that top 15 instead of fighting one of the killers like Jalen Turner, Arman Tsarukyan, Mateusz Gamrot, Damir Muggle, loving those type of guys. But what do y'all think about the man, the myth, the legend, Paddy Pimblett, not fighting any top 15 fighters for another year or so? Nassourdine Imavov calls out Paulo Costa after his win at UFC France against the unranked Joaquin Buckley. If we look at the middleweight division, his rankings did not change at all. He went from number 12 and he stayed at number 12 because he did beat an unranked fighter. But if you look up here, Paulo Costa is at number 6 coming off a win also against an unranked fighter, losing to Marvin Vettori in his last fight. Number 6 versus number 12 in the middleweight division could be a possibility, as Nassourdine Imavov would really like this fight. Do you think this is the fight to make, or should there be a different matchup for Nassourdine and Paulo Costa? Put your matchups down below in the comments section. Ciryl Gane, the number 1 contender in the UFC's heavyweight division, and Curtis Blaydes, the number 3 UFC heavyweight contender, are getting at it right now. We have Curtis Blaydes calling him out a few days ago. We did go over that in our video. But we have Ciryl Gane saying, I think Stipe or Jon Jones will be next. I'm sorry, bro, inferring and kind of saying to Curtis Blaydes, if I have a choice, it's not going to be against Curtis Blaydes. This is not a smart move for my career. So Ciryl Gane does not want to fight Curtis Blaydes, and I would agree with him. Fighting Curtis Blaydes is not a good fight for Ciryl Gane right now. I would actually say a fight with Stipe Miocic, Jon Jones would be an easier matchup for Ciryl Gane because of how good of a wrestler that Curtis Blaydes is. So this is a better thing for Ciryl Gane to do. It's not like he's ducking Curtis Blaydes, but he gains more for fighting Stipe Miocic. He gains more for fighting Jon Jones for less of a risk, so why not take it? What do y'all think about this in the heavyweight division? Georges St-Pierre, one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time, says, and I quote, Nate Diaz, you can never count him out. He's very well-rounded, he's very durable, and it will take a lot to try and put him away. But Khamzat, it's going to be a tough challenge because he's only went the distance in his last fight with Gilbert Burns, I believe, and I think he's grown incredibly from that last fight with Gilbert Burns. He has learned a lot, so I think we're going to see a better version of Khamzat Chimaev, still better than what he was in that last fight, so it's going to be an interesting one. But if I would have to bet on this fight, St-Pierre added, of course I'm going to have to go with the odds, and I'm going to have to go with Khamzat Chimaev to beat Nate Diaz at UFC 271. That is my prediction as well. I don't see it going any other way. Put your predictions down below. Khamzat Chimaev says, and I quote, I am the killer, you know they pay for me, and I take his head, referring to Nate Diaz at UFC 279. UFC wants me to kill Nate Diaz, brother, is what Khamzat Chimaev said recently on an interview. I mean, this is absolutely insane. Khamzat Chimaev saying some crazy stuff in the lead up to UFC 279. But who do you got winning this fight in the main event of the pay-per-view? Khamzat Chimaev says after he's done smashing Nate Diaz at UFC 279 that Nate Diaz should fight Conor McGregor in his next fight for the Trilogy in a UFC pay-per-view. What do y'all think? Should that be the next fight for Nate Diaz? Jake Paul and Anderson Silva is official for October 29th, nearly the exact date that Anderson Silva retired from being a professional MMA fighter. Who do y'all think wins? Put your predictions down below. Arman Tsarukyan calls out Paddy the Baddy Pimblett in the UFC's lightweight division. He says, and I quote, "I want to fight at the UFC, Paddy the Paddy Pimblett. I think you have had a great start in the UFC, and now it is time to move up a level. What do you think about challenging for a top 10 spot in the UFC lightweight division? Are you ready for a big move or not?" Arman Tsarukyan wants Paddy Pimblett, but obviously Paddy's not going to accept the fight. We went over it earlier on in the video. He does not want any ranked opponents for the next year or two, so he's not going to accept the fight. But what do y'all think about the call-out, Arman or Paddy? Who wins in the lightweight division? Ciryl Gane has a broken hand and is going to be out from the UFC and from fighting from the next 3 to 5 months, maybe more, maybe less, but as of right now, it's around that time period. I don't know what specific strike caused his hand to break, but Tai Tuivasa has a very solid chin, so maybe one of those big hooks that he landed, those big right hands that he was landing, maybe that hammer fist that he landed on Tai Tuivasa broke Ciryl Gane's hand. But what do y'all think? Well, what's going to happen now? Because Ciryl Gane probably won't be able to fight Francis Ngannou if Francis Ngannou comes back in the next few months. What do y'all think? What should Ciryl Gane do now? Georges St-Pierre says Leon Edwards would have given me trouble. And I would agree. I would still go for Georges St-Pierre to win the fight. I would say that Georges St-Pierre's wrestling and takedowns and grappling and things like that would get him the win over a guy like Leon Edwards. But you never know. It is Leon Edwards. He does have that 5th round KO power with his kicks. And he could knock out any guy in round number 5. So who do you think would win this fantasy matchup with Georges St-Pierre and Leon Edwards? Nate Diaz says Trilogy with Conor McGregor will for sure happen in an interview with Brett Okamoto earlier today. I can't wait for the Trilogy to win or lose against Khamzat Chimaev. It's Khamzat Chimaev. He's supposed to lose this fight, so if he does lose, alright, put him against Conor McGregor. Conor's coming off of losses recently to guys ranked around the same as Khamzat Chimaev in Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier is ranked number 2 in the UFC's lightweight division. Chimaev is ranked number 3 in the UFC's lightweight division. So McGregor losing to number 2, Diaz losing to number 3, as well as the champion Leon Edwards. That's nothing to scoff about whatsoever. So the Trilogy would make sense after this fight with Diaz and Chimaev. Who wins the Trilogy? That is it for today's MMA news. Put your thoughts down below for the news. Make sure to go follow Bert_MMA on Instagram for the latest and greatest MMA news. Like this video. Let's get this video to 25 likes. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.